There was a band director that lived in the house right next to ours, outside, just on the outskirts of Champaign, and I went to. It was around the time that Fantasia was out, and we had some classical music records, LPs at home. I heard practicing coming out of the neighbor's house where he'd give private lessons to junior high and high school kids. But I went to a Champaign-Urbana Symphony young person's concert. They played Sorcerer's Apprentice. I was probably 8 or so, and thought, wow, I don't want to be a fireman or a policeman. I want to be a professional bassoonist. And I just never grew out of that. I played clarinet for half a year or something like that. Went from the back to the front of the clarinet section, and it wasn't what I wanted in the first place, and I just progressed so easily that I just moved on to bassoon really quickly. And I was playing contrabassoon, like in 7th or 8th grade, in the youth orchestra at the summer camps. And the pictures of that, of course, it was a low A bell. It was a tall instrument. It was twice as tall as I was. It was just a comical sight. And I was always just drawn to the contra. I was just always drawn to the really the physical vibrations of it. You could actually kind of feel the air move a little bit when it was really cranked up. I liked that about it. An opportunity came for a contrabassoon opening, and I was well suited for that, and that's, for me, it was never really much of a question. For some people, for some players, I think you do what you have to do, to be gainfully employed, but the contrabassoon is not, a choice that most people make when they're they're home alone and they're thinking, gee, I wonder what I'd like to do for the rest of my life. I think I'll play the contrabassoon. It's a really small club. It's a really, really small group of people, and it's not like the harp or the piano or something where you could function independently of others. I mean, you must be you really have to be with other people. It's not a particularly compelling solo instrument, and even on a good day, it needs some people around it, I think, to encourage good sound and good playing. So basically, you have to be in an orchestra of some sort that it's a large enough orchestra that it does the repertoire that covers the contrabassoon. I'm not playing every piece all the time. It's an instrument that various composers wrote for, didn't write for in varying ways. Started in the early 1700s with Bach, but then came and went. Some composers liked, some didn't. A little bit of Beethoven, a little bit of Brahms, and really, just not every piece has the instrument. The thing that I like about the nature of the job is the challenges of playing with different groups, because the writing for the contra there's a lot of writing that doubles the low strings. That takes a certain kind of articulation and quality of sound and intonation all to fit into that group, which is completely separate from my low wind voices that, the Strauss and Mahler and sort of that organ stop kind of a sound a little bit, but a faster, lighter articulation, different intonation and things with my friends to the right, and then also in all the brass chorales and chords and things, whether Brahms or Mahler and things like that then playing with the brass as a whole is a different kind of an articulation and a different kind of sound that goes with the people behind me. Well, to me, this is really interesting. This is one of the things that makes it's not just doing this, it's remembering and keeping track and going, okay, I'll try this sound, all the different subtleties that go on with matching each different group. Because you really can't, the instrument is the kind of instrument that unless you're sitting right next to me, no one is following me. It's such an indistinct kind of everything about it is relatively indistinct, which composers have used really effectively. But it's not the presence that many, many other instruments are. So I generally have to go, I have to fit in with him. It's not really a solo instrument where somebody's going to follow me. Well, the sound is affected, as you know, by these great halls that we play in. It's just so fabulous to be able to play in Symphony Hall. This is one of the great halls in the world. It's extremely resonant. It makes it, you never, ever have to force your sound. And I'm just so absolutely fortunate and lucky to be in this situation doing what I'm doing. I love doing this thing. I have this grand affection for the instrument. And I found this great place to, to play my hobby and be a professional about it at the same time. It's for me, it's just idyllic. It's so great for me.